PBI out with some news. I played this successfully many times. There's some news out there today. You can take a look at it. Looks interesting. Paying down some debt, pre-announcing. Let me open it up. I don't know, let's thing up here. Okay, pre-announcing revenue within guidance and adjusted EBITDA above guidance. All right. So that's positive PR. You can take a look at that. So let's go for top picks. I gotta put PBI in here. I gotta do it. PBI, there's a big wall at 750. I decided to start eating into that. Take a nice chunk. 79,000 shares left. But I've had success trading PBI on positive news. Really good success with it. So 755. What are the candles after 755? I think this news warrants a break of the 50 DMA. You break the 50 DMA, you get to these candles at 768. 768 is your target. Okay, may seem like nothing, but 768. That's 18 cents divided by 750. That's a 2.4% return. I'll take it. On a day like today, I'll take a 2.4% return. So PBI going to be on the top of the list today.
Speaking of defense and space, the company I had on my watch list, which I own actually, I have some in my long-term account, Redwire Corporation, huge acquisition, really kind of a merger because market cap's 981 million and they're buying Edge Autonomy for 925 million. So yes, very much like a merger, and most of it's being paid in stock. Check out the title of this. No, that's not the one I want. Oh yes, it is. Reported Sunday, Redwire to acquire Edge Autonomy, a $925 million deal, transforming into a multi-domain space and defense leader. What perfect timing, all right? Those are the sectors that we're interested in today. So Redwire doubling in size, becoming a space and defense leader. Also, the deal is accretive to earnings. So this one's looking good today. I have to say there's a possibility of an 1854 swing target, meaning the proximal high there. Is that an all-time high? It is. That proximal all-time high, it is an all-time high. It's also proximal 1854. That was back a couple weeks ago, I guess, on January 6th. So stock here at 1587, doubling the size of the company, and the accretive acquisition in the defense and space sectors. Really hot sentiment today. So Redwire going to be a focus in our community today.
PBI out with some news. I played this successfully many times. There's some news out there today. You can take a look at it. Looks interesting. Paying down some debt, pre-announcing. Let me open it up. I don't know, let's thing up here. Okay, pre-announcing revenue within guidance and adjusted EBITDA above guidance. All right. So that's positive PR. You can take a look at that. So let's go for top picks. I gotta put PBI in here. I gotta do it. PBI, there's a big wall at 750. I decided to start eating into that. Take a nice chunk. 79,000 shares left. But I've had success trading PBI on positive news. Really good success with it. So 755. What are the candles after 755? I think this news warrants a break of the 50 DMA. You break the 50 DMA, you get to these candles at 768. 768 is your target. Okay, may seem like nothing, but 768. That's 18 cents divided by 750. That's a 2.4% return. I'll take it. On a day like today, I'll take a 2.4% return. So PBI going to be on the top of the list today.
This morning, Symbiotic, wow, oh my gosh.
to the T. I gave you guys a $34 target this morning. So Ollie in our community alerted this stock. At least by the time I saw it, it was about 31.14. It was something like here. All right. It was something around shortly after 7 a.m. And we had a nice little due diligence session in our Discord chat, going back and forth, doing some research. It was beautiful. And I came up with basically with this Walmart deal, coming up with, hey, this is a net positive. It looks good. So if you have a net positive, you turn to the stock chart and you come up with your targets. And how did I come up with 34? So you're in the gap here. So we were already above 31.08 in pre-market. Then you get this big gap. So where's the gap, Phil? I don't go all the way to here, right? Which maybe some people will do and say, oh, your target is now 36.63. No, the gap is, for me, the bottom of the gap is here, this candle. So you go into this empty space and you go back and you say, where is that resistance? Look at that. It was 34.02. So I gave everyone a target of 34. Still have my eye on Geo. This is one that I still feel, even if we get a more deeper market pullback, Geo can still break out incredibly here between this week and next week. Let's see if that happens. That's the immigration enforcement stock. That's a Trump inauguration event anticipation play. January 20th, inauguration day, also happens to be Martin Luther King Day. The markets are going to be closed on Monday, January 20th, which means the market cannot immediately react to any news that happens that day in regards to executive orders that Trump puts out on immigration or whatever. If they want to play the executive orders on January 20th on immigration, you got to be in Geo by January 17th. Okay. So this makes me even more bullish Geo, especially the timing of it with January 17th. This is broken out to all-time new highs, closing at 31.13. I got a target of 35 to 38 on this. Okay, 35 more or less psychological resistance, 38 Fibonacci extension. This is my largest position by far, and I would say it's my highest conviction pick even now. Looking at the macro situation this morning, looking at the indices, looking at the news, Geo, my number one pick right now, and my largest trade position. Okay, well, Geo, I am not backing down on this. This is my largest position. I might be wrong. It's $31 now. We're in $30 call. So if at least we stay here, we're not going to lose all our money, right? We're in the money. But I'm looking, my goal was 33 to 35 by the end of this week. Let's see. I think that can still happen.
PBI out with some news. We played this. I played this successfully many times. There's some news out there today. You can take a look at it. Looks interesting. Paying down some debt. Pre-announcing. Let me open it up. I don't know. Let's open up here. Okay. Pre-announcing revenue within guidance and adjusted EBITDA above guidance. All right. So that's positive PR. You can take a look at that. So let's go for top picks. I gotta put PBI in here. I gotta do it. PBI, there's a big wall at 750. I decided to start eating into that. Take a nice chunk. 79,000 shares left. But I've had success trading PBI on positive news. Really good success with it. So 755. What are the candles after 755? I think this news warrants a break of the 50 DMA. You break the 50 DMA, you get to these candles at 768. 768 is your target, okay? May seem like nothing, but 768, that's 18 cents divided by 750. That's a 2.4% return. I'll take it. On a day like today, I'll take a 2.4% return. So PBI going to be on the top of the list today.
This morning, Symbiotic, wow, oh my gosh, to the T. I gave you guys a $34 target this morning. So Ollie in our community alerted this stock. At least by the time I saw it, it was about 31.14. It was something like here, all right? It was something around shortly after 7 a.m. and we had a nice little due diligence session in our Discord chat, going back and forth, doing some research. It was beautiful. And I came up with basically with this Walmart deal, coming up with, hey, this is a net positive. It looks good. So if you have a net positive, you turn to the stock chart and you come up with your targets. And how did I come up with 34? So you're in the gap here. So we were already above 31.08 in pre-market. Then you get this big gap. So where's the gap, Phil? I don't go all the way to here, right? Which maybe some people will do and say, oh, your target is now 36.63. No, the gap is, for me, the bottom of the gap is here, this candle. So you go into this empty space and you go back and you say, where is that resistance? Look at that. It was 34.02. So I gave everyone a target of 34.
Now, speaking of defense and space, the company I had on my watch list, which I own actually, I have some in my long-term account, Redwire Corporation, huge acquisition, really kind of a merger because market cap's 981 million, and they're buying Edge Autonomy for 925 million. So yes, very much like a merger, and most of it's being paid in stock. Check out the title of this. No, that's not the one I want. Oh yes, it is. Reported Sunday, Redwire to acquire Edge Autonomy, a $925 million deal, transforming into a multi-domain space and defense leader. What perfect timing, all right? Those are the sectors that we're interested in today. So Redwire doubling in size, becoming a space and defense leader. Also, the deal is accretive to earnings. So this one's looking good today. I have to say there's a possibility of an 1854 swing target, meaning the proximal high there. Is that an all-time high? It is. That proximal all-time high, it is an all-time high. It's also proximal. 1854, that was back a couple weeks ago, I guess, on January 6th. So stock here at 1587, doubling the size of the company, and an accretive acquisition in the defense and space sectors. Really hot sentiment today. So Redwire going to be a focus in our community today.
PBI out with some news. We played this. I played this successfully many times. There's some news out there today. You can take a look at it. Looks interesting. Paying down some debt. Pre-announcing. Let me open it up. I don't know. Let's open up here. Okay. Pre-announcing revenue within guidance and adjusted EBITDA above guidance. All right. So that's positive PR. You can take a look at that. So let's go for top picks. I gotta put PBI in here. I gotta do it. PBI, there's a big wall at 750. I decided to start eating into that. Took a nice chunk. 79,000 shares left. But I've had success trading PBI on positive news. Really good success with it. So 755. What are the candles after 755? I think this news warrants a break of the 50 DMA. You break the 50 DMA, you get to these candles at 768. 768 is your target. Okay, may seem like nothing, but 768. That's 18 cents divided by 750. That's a 2.4% return. I'll take it. On a day like today, I'll take a 2.4% return. So PBI going to be on the top of the list today.
Good morning, story traders. It's Wednesday, January 29th, and what an action-packed day it's going to be. Starting our show early here at 8:45 a.m. I got my coffee out. I'll be sipping on it all day, man. We got show after show after show, crazy stuff. Good morning, Brett.
Morning, Ben.
So we're going to do this pre-market prep here till 9:15. Then we're going to stay live to the public at 9:15. Jeff Thompson, CEO of RCAT, is going to be here for an interview. So we'll have an interesting time with that. We've interviewed him, I think, twice or at least once, along with the CEOs of UMAC and Mob. So crazy. And then look at DJT, late breaking news. So I guess are we going to come back to this or cover it now? Let's cover it now. DJT is just out. Breaking news. Trump Media announces expansion into financial services. Trump Media and Technology launch of financial services and fintech brand Truth.fi. Trump Media and Technology, I keep repeating the title here, approved investment of up to $250 million to be custodied by Charles Schwab. Anticipates that Truth.fi products and services, including multiple investment vehicles, will be rolled out in 2025. 250 million funds may be allocated to customize SMAS, which I don't know what that is. These are crypto-related securities. Okay. Can't really be surprised here. In fact, I'm like reading this. Unfortunately, at this time, I didn't have call options. Well, you know what? I probably would have lost it all. But we were in some call options earlier this year on exactly this. That something like this could happen, especially with that recent launch of the Trump coin. So, this market cap here of, what is it, 8 billion, 6 billion. You know what? Like, who knows? I mean, Trump is the most powerful person in the world, and he has a huge enthusiastic base. You never know. Maybe it can grow into that. At least that's the speculation. That's the sentiment that's going to be driving the stock today. If you look at the daily, the 250 and 20-day moving averages, it's almost breaking up above all of them. Well, it broke above the 200 and the 50. The 20 DMA is here at 35.67. That's where I set a sell order right around the 20 DMA for some shares that I picked up here. But honestly, looking at it now, talking it through with you guys, I'm thinking maybe I should just not sell that at the 20 DMA. Look at the spike up here. We got into the 40s. Look at this candle. What's this? 38.66, 38.66 to 43. I think it's a possibility that's going to be in play today. So you know what? I'm going to keep my sell order at 35. So a little bit of live trading for you here. But also my position is very small. I picked up a small position there at like 33.90 or something like that. So going to just add a little bit more. Still going to be a very small position. I generally don't do large positions on speculative stocks. So, all right, adding a little bit more DJT here. So if I sell some of the 20 DMA, I'll still have some to ride. Did that go through? I think so. I think I just increased my position of DJT. There's so much to cover, guys. All right, still a small position. It's tempting to take a big position because I could really see this going from this range here. All right, candle resistance here to candle resistance there once it breaks the 20 DMA. Going to be a very interesting day for DJT. Wow, I mean, there's so much to cover, Rhett. How am I going to do it? Let's go to the macro. Honestly, I just want to look at the DJT chart for the rest of the next 30 minutes and trade this. That's what I want to do, but I gotta go to the macro. Okay, FOMC today. Why don't I talk while I look at the DJT chart? FOMC today, 2 p.m. All right. Now, it's I think widely expected at this point. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm just going to not look at it. All right, for 5 minutes. Okay, widely expected at this point that interest rates, we're going to take a pause, right? There's going to be a pause today. It's all going to come down to the dot plot and what Jerome Powell says for the rest of the year. Bullish, hawkish, dovish, right? And that this can have big implications for IWM. Already, IWM got blocked. I've been hinting at this for the last week or so that I think we may be in a little paradigm shift, and we've seen it in the price action where, do you remember, like, after COVID, for like once they started raising interest rates, right? And we had that initial market crash for like 6 months where everything was impacted. And then all the big caps soared to new highs. And then small caps and IWM were in the shitter for a long time. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And it was like a disaster for micro cap investors and small cap investors watching NVIDIA and all these big caps explode to new highs, but all the small caps getting killed because of high interest rates. and worries about, hey, if you need to raise money, you can't do it on good terms. So I'm worried we're heading back into that paradigm. The price action here in the past week or so supports that. If Powell comes out and has, some sentiment to look, high interest rates or the lack of low interest rates are actually great. So inflation is great for the big caps. It's great for the mega caps. We've seen it. Theoretically, you can think about that and see why that's true. And in practice, we saw that. But inflation and higher interest rates is terrible for small caps. So you know what? I think I've been a little bit more cautious on small caps. We've been seeing catalysts on small caps being sold off like crazy in the past week. All right. And that's where my caution would be. We're going to be live for a Discord at 2 p.m. We killed it, by the way, last month on FOMC. Remember? Well, if you were in Discord, you remember we made a killing on UVXY calls. The thing that I think, the thing I'm really good in, you got to wait for the comments. You got to wait for the press conference and just like finding that keyword that shifts the sentiment for the day or for the week. Right, from the conference call, the key question someone asks and the way he answers, like, I'm so good at that, right? And we got to find that moment to say, aha, the market's going to interpret this as dovish, or it's going to interpret this as what? Brain freeze, right? Dovish or hawkish.
Hawkish,
right?
Yep.
So that's the story at 2 p.m. and it can have a dramatic impact, especially on IWM and TLT. Okay. So we're going to be watching that. We'll be live on our Discord at 2 p.m. That's a big story that's coming. Now, let's go to the ERs. DJT, looking good there. All right. Now, the ERs today, another big story. Wow. Well, we had ASML this morning up 5% after getting destroyed recently because DeepSeek. So making a little bit of a comeback this morning. But then this afternoon, can you believe the Microsoft call we had in our Discord yesterday in the morning? It said, hey, this could hit 447 today. Look where it closed at, 447. From 434 to 447. Insane. I got news for you guys. Today, we are launching a new service in our Discord, Options Alerts. Okay? Those of you who've known me, who followed me for years, know that I generally like to trade small caps more than big caps, and I don't do a lot of options trading. But my analysis on big caps, when I give it, is so accurate, it's ridiculous. And usually I don't trade it. For whatever reason, it's just not my niche. I don't focus on it. But there's plenty of people in our community who love trading options, who love big caps day after day. I don't want to say day after day after day, but it happens like at least, how many times has it happened, Rhett, where I had a big cap call? What was it? Oracle, Microsoft, Tesla. Amazing.
I mean, it almost happens every day. It
almost happens every day on big caps. And I don't know why I don't
just ignore it. It's crazy.
As I give the analysis, but I don't like bang the table on it. Oh my gosh, buy the options. So what we did is we created a separate room starting today in our Discord that Rhett is going to head up along with a couple other great options traders in our community. And what they're going to do is take my morning analysis and basically advise people on options trade ideas. All right. And maybe I'll follow them too, because I have some sort of brain block against it. I don't do it often enough. Okay. So anyway, lots of opportunities in big caps with earnings today on Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, IBM after the close. The low-hanging fruit's gone from Microsoft. That was an easy call, 447 yesterday off the rebound off DeepSeek, and looking at those candle resistance and the event anticipation to ER today was just obvious. I mean, yeah, so obvious. That little obvious play could have made you like $100,000 if I was serious about it. But in any case, I'm not going to make any predictions for today's price action. Yesterday was the obvious low-hanging fruit, the bounce back from DeepSeek one day ahead of earnings. That was the day to play those for the day. Not going to give you any predictions. I will say IBM might be set up to have the best reaction to ER after the close, maybe, and Microsoft. Okay, Meta's already at all-time highs. That's going to be pushing it to ask it to gap up after that. Microsoft not yet at all-time highs with a beautiful chart with the possibility of buying TikTok. All right, you got Tesla here with Elon Musk last night saying FSD, full drive FSD for deliveries. I don't know exactly where it was, what specific country. What was the details on that? Right, I put it in the Discord, but right at the 50 DMA. Yeah, I put his comments in earlier this morning. There's so many notifications coming through our Discord right now. So anyway, Tesla right at the 50 DMA. This could be something that's going to be hard, meaning you could get the fundamentals underperforming, but the stock's still doing well. There may be kind of like a pre-programmed bias that no matter what happens here, I'm going to buy Tesla on earnings because of that thesis we talked about all the way here at 288, right? At 288, we called for a 400 to 500 price target by inauguration time. I mean, how accurate was that? That was crazy. All right. It's all about politics and deregulation, and Musk being close to Trump. So potentially Tesla could do really well tonight and tomorrow, even if the metrics don't add up to what people want. But I got to remind you, last quarter was a type of inflection quarter on, especially in the energy side of the business and margins over there. So could be interesting on Tesla. All right. Those are the big caps. Usually, when it comes to price predictions, we wait for the earnings reports. We don't make ER bets, okay? We always react to ERs rather than predict ERs. So that's that. But I will say here, reacting to ASML, going to slip into our AI stocks here. I think TSM today can make a move to the 20 DMA there of 208.78. RSI really low, got killed by DeepSeek. Really no reason for that to have happened. I added a TSM to my long-term retirement account on that big red day on January 27th. So today, on the back of ASML and the low RSI, could see TSM make a move to the 20 DMA 208.72. And if it breaks that, which is possible because of very low RSI, then 211, there's a little bit of gap fill that it's got to get to right after that at 211. So that's possible in play when it comes to big caps. All right. That's that. Now, let's move on over to our top list here. It's 8:57. We got 15 minutes before we get to RCAT.
You sent him the invite, correct?
Yeah, but it's, it's a good thing. You reminded me, just sometimes people have issues. So I'm going to make sure I have my email open and my text messages open in case he contacts me. All right.
I'll hold the other one open as well.
Where do we begin? Well, we told you about DJT. Let's go to the story with GSAT and ACTS. Okay, opportunity. Apple, what's being described in the media as a surprise move, works with Starlink, all right, to modify their phones, so the Starlink service can work with iPhones. And the reason it's being called a surprise, as I understand it, I don't know the deal well, but apparently GSAT had a deal with Apple to do that. So GSAT's getting absolutely killed here. We gave the alert last night, and we basically said, look, ASTS is going to be down on sentiment, but GSAT is the real one that's being hurt here. Okay, so I wouldn't touch GSAT. If you took my cues, you could have decided to short it last night or early this morning from that Discord message. But so I'm going to stay away from GSAT. Generally, I don't short. Okay, you got strong support here at 150 right now that it's trying to hold. But this is important because it shows, look at the differing reaction between GSAT and ACTS, right? There's a gut reaction, always has been, especially since the election, that anything good for Starlink is bad for ASTS, all right? That's how it's been being played, at least from a sentiment perspective. But based on the research I've done, the fundamentals have not changed, and ASTS is still the one positioned to basically have a superior service, a broadband service. Starlink is only for text messaging. Apparently, the ASTS service will also work better in buildings. So the fundamentals, according to the people who are big bulls in ASTS, have not changed at all. So that's also partially explains here why, GSAT's the real loser, down 23%. ASTS on sentiment down 4.5%. Now, if you understand the sentiment, the technicals, and the fundamentals, I'm going to make a prediction here. So I did predict last night that ASTS would be pressured today, and it could be pressured all the way to the 200 DMA at 1842. All right. But there, because of the fundamental support, because the fundamentals haven't changed, then this 1842 can get bought up and it can be in buy here 1842. We've been selling puts on ASTS. Man, they're paying. All right. We have a wheel put program also on our Discord, a separate channel for that. And ASTS has been paying tremendous effective annualized yields. And it looks like, very safe. Those are going to play out again today. So I think the 200 DMA is going to hold. Okay. 200 DMA. And that's a potential opportunity, potential trade opportunity in ASTS is buy the 200 DMA around 1850. All right. 1851, 1852. The 200 DMA is 1842, but that's close enough to this whole number of 1850 that it might get supported at that whole number, half whole number, you know what I mean, of 1850. All right. So that's the story with GSAT and ASTS as we take another little peek at DJT. All right. pulling back, but I think the bids are going to be, I think the pullbacks are going to be bought up today. All right, let's see here. RCAT. So RCAT, man, I was meaning to bring Jeff Thompson here earlier. Should I? You know what? Let me do that at 9:07 or 9:10. All right, so we can go right into the interview. All right, PBI. We killed that 3 days in a row. Needed a pullback. Yesterday morning, we said we're not going to put it as a top pick again because it's 3 days. RSI's stretched. But I just love this right now for the intermediate to long term. I like it into the earnings report on February 11th. This thing is worth at least $13 to $15 on inflection point catalyst that's been happening actually every couple months. This inflection point catalyst keeps on happening. That's basically a deleveraging that's happening of the company, cutting costs, paying off debt, dramatically improving cash flow. This story is just insane. Plus, there's optionality upside if Trump decides to privatize, or at least even partially privatize USPS, then PBI will be sitting there, top tier contender to gain billions of dollars in business if they do that. I mean, this is just a no-brainer. PBI, not a top pick for today because maybe we got to reset a little bit more. But yesterday I started adding to some call options to take me into the earnings report. All right. Another big cap that I want to mention, Rhett, is Snow. We had another big cap. We had a perfect prediction on yesterday on Snow, which hit our targets. The target was here, 186.82. And I said, hey, if you break 186.82, then you go to the bottom of this gap here, which is 194.20. That's my next target. Swing target. I don't know if it happens today, but boy, that's a breakout on the daily. It very well could continue today as the traders look at that daily breakout. So 194 possible on Snow. Let me just throw that to the top of the list along with TSM, or throw that to the top of the list. All right, for you guys to consider if you want to do, call options in that new call option alert room. You can consider TSM and Snow, but typically, I wouldn't put these in the top 5, and I'm not going to today. Just mentioning that because of our new program of options on the big caps. Okay, as GSAT continues to slide right after we talk about it, 50. This, you don't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, guys. But ASTS, as it slides, gets more attractive for an entry. Okay, talked about PBI, Microsoft, NVIDIA. Let's take a peek at NVIDIA. 200 DMA is important. I think this thing, especially because it broke back above the high of the day here, 128.40. I think we're in good shape. But, 125.96, 200 DMA, 121.96. Now, a lot is going to hinge on what Microsoft and Microsoft says about CapEx for AI. All right. A lot is going to hinge on that. If they say, hey, there's no changes to our CapEx, we got to spend, then basically you're going to see all those hardware names explode again this afternoon. All right. That's going to be NVIDIA, probably TSM, NBIS for sure. Oh, wow. We lost NBIS. Oh, are you serious? Oh my gosh, that's a dip buying opportunity right here. NBIS, I have a 33. We're going to get to NBIS in a second, but I thought 33 could come today. Maybe it still can. Okay, so these stocks, along with a couple Godfather stocks he mentioned recently, IESC. All right, these are AI infrastructure stocks, which went up after that Trump announcement, and AGX. So all of these infrastructure stocks could explode in after hours, based on what is said on the conference call. So we'll be live in our Discord analyzing that to see if there's any after hours trades, and the vice versa may also be true. So be careful of that. But I think odds are they're going to, stay with their CapEx spend. All right. So NBIS, I'm actually going to make a top pick today. Look at this, this beautiful bright. This is similar to the TSM chart. So very similar to the TSM chart. So I'm going to go with both, same basically thesis on both of these here. So NBIS, $33 price target. Look at that low RSI, back above the 50 DMA. Hopefully, we don't need to hear from Meta and after hours to make it to 33, and we just get there on event anticipation. All right, so that's that. Now, let's keep moving on down the list. I want to point out relative strength and beyond. I doubled my position before the close yesterday. Don't have time again to the thesis today on that. If you want to know the thesis, you can join our Discord. I don't even know what the hell this is. I bought a small position this morning. I'm looking for experts. I couldn't really find, I checked social media, couldn't find it, but PAC, some sort of deal, which it's not even a press release, it was an SEC filing where Amazon is buying a ton of warrants in PAC. I don't know if it's probably a pre-existing relationship. I don't know the nature of the relationship, but Amazon, $1 trillion company, PAC, $500 million company, and they're interested in buying a lot of warrants in the company. So I took a little risk on this right around here, probably 690, 692, 693, something like that. So I don't know anything about it. High risk, small position. All right. But let me throw that to the top. I like my small caps. All right. Gosh, my God, there's so much to cover. It's 9:06, so where I skipped something here. All right. Also want to know, there's been some people in our Discord all over BlackBerry recently, and they've been right. Look at that. Since the earnings report, been really beautiful. I just want to note 52-week high yesterday, and then a small gap up this morning. I bought some for my retirement account. I've been on the periphery watching BlackBerry over the last few quarters because it was intriguing to me that this company is still in business, and the fact that they were still around meant to me that, hey, maybe there's a turnaround here. And so I briefly looked at the earnings like 2 quarters ago. I missed this last quarter, and it looks like there's something there. I don't know if it's an AI play or not, but if you're an expert in BlackBerry, let us know. Very intriguing that we had a 52-week high here yesterday. I believe that's a 52-week high, yeah. And maybe it's part of this money flow going from AI hardware to AI software. Is it an AI software play here? I'm not sure, but interesting to see the relative strength here, both in Beyond and BlackBerry. Let me just throw both of those to the top of the list. Oh my gosh, too much to talk about today. I do want to note Geo. Okay, Geo trying to find a bottom here off of the 50 DMA yesterday, and we caught that live in our Discord and caught a quick dollar based on the press briefing that was happening at the White House with Carolyn Levitt. Her first one, I believe. Recently, this has come down because of a couple. First of all, I got to say, we made a ton of money in our community on this move. We predicted it perfectly. Perfect target, perfect timing. Everything was beautiful. $30 call options made 500%. And we advised people to sell on the morning of January 21st. I mean, it was just beautiful. Now, we pulled back for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight days because of some concern. Always the event anticipation, always easier than, hey, now show me the goods, right? Now we're in the show me the goods phase for this immigration stock. And there's some concern that Trump may want to use foreign countries for jails, that maybe they're going to use the military, maybe they're skipping right to deportations and people are sitting in jails as long as we wanted to. It's been pressured. But we got a nice bounce yesterday because for the first, I don't want to say for the first, yeah, I would say for the first time in really unequivocal terms, the White House, which is the spokesperson for Trump, basically saying that every single illegal immigrant, all right, every single undocumented person is a criminal, okay? And they repeated that 3 times. Every single one of them, based on the fact that they came in the country illegally, that's a crime. Therefore, every single one of them are a criminal and subject to deportation, all right? That put the bottom, at least for the day, in Geo Stock, all right? So we'll see. I added some more there when I saw that because they're going to need some beds. All right, so that's Geo. All right, it's 9:09. We got to start talking about. Let me just make sure there's no messages from Jeff Thompson. Check my text messages and my email. All right, so I guess it's coming right at 9:15. All right, so RCAT. I've been meaning to get in touch with RCAT CEO to get some feedback and comment on the short report. Last week, I had the flu basically all week. All right, I was still working. If you saw me, I was working from home, so I wasn't up to call him. And then I got sidetracked with DeepSeek. And then I saw this big green candle yesterday. I'm like, all right, maybe something's up. Let's call Jeff Thompson and find out if something's up. All right. So we had that conversation yesterday, and I like what I heard. So I asked him to come on. So he's going to be on here in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about RCAT. So just as a reminder, we wrote RCAT from like 2 to 15 in our community. Godfather introduced it to our community, and we all did a great job executing on that. And then let's go to our drone list. Then we became somewhat of a early player in the whole drone sector after that, because based on our previous RCAT interview, we decided to get into UMAC at $5, and then literally a day later, Donald Trump Jr. was appointed. That was crazy. So we got like 5 to 20 on UMAC, then OPTT at 16 cents. We were in that. I didn't get the 175, but we got a big move to like, I forgot when we exited, Rhett. Do you remember when we exited OPTT? It was at least a triple, quadruple or something on OPTT. So that was beautiful. We were early in Mob right here on the gap this day. We got it December 2nd at the open, 246. We got into Mob. It doubled, pulled back, but some good news yesterday. We interviewed the CEO of Mob. So we are plugged in. We are plugged into what's happening with the small drones, RCAT, Mob, OPTT, UMAC, and PDYN. I don't know why I haven't yet reached out. I should reach out to management and interview the CEO. This is the only one I've been staring at that we didn't play, just watching it explode. And it has one of the best charts, both AI and drones. And yeah, I got to at some point interview the CEO on PDYN. But going here on RCAT, just looking at the technicals, beautiful move yesterday. RCAT, we're going to talk about it with Jeff Thompson in a second, but some interesting political dynamics yesterday to see RCAT up so much. And then you have a bunch of defense stocks, including Khaki. Look at this, down a lot. And Lockheed Martin, they also had earnings, though, down a lot. But then also Northrop Grumman, only RTX is spared because people really like their earnings report. Northrop Grumman down a lot. So there's some political things going on here that's causing all these defense names to go down, right? But why, oh, why, if that was the case, was RCAT up so much yesterday? And that's what we're going to talk to Jeff about today, mostly in the 10 minutes we have with him. But I want to point out the technicals. This RSI really low, relatively speaking, starting to peak up with the 50 DMA right here. I want to tell you, if I knew nothing else, and if we don't learn anything from Jeff today, if this interview wasn't happening today, purely from a technical perspective, I would say there's a chance. I would look at that 50 DMA, say if we break above that 50 DMA, we can make a run to above 10 to 1060, possibly even today. All right, because that was a beautiful technical move yesterday. All right, so let's go back to our top list here. And on cue, Jeff just joined our back in studio, so we'll come to him in just 2 minutes. All right, so let's just quickly recap in the 2 minutes we have here what stocks we think can outperform today. So definitely going to have DJT up there, ASTS on the dip, right? You want to get ASTS there at the 200 DMA. All right, interesting, the relative strength we've been seeing in BlackBerry and beyond. Take a look at that. PAC, I don't know enough about PAC, like I said, so I can't make that a top 5. NBIS, I got to do that. I'm not sure what's driven this drop here, down 2% here in pre-market, if something changed. But just looking at the daily chart, and SM, I think, can make a move to the 20 DMAs today, despite this pullback in pre-market. All right, now we got 1 minute left. I'm just trying to see if we can pull a top pick out of our hats here, Rhett. Let's see. Do we have a top pick out of these? We don't always have a top pick, by the way. I'm just going to go with NBIS as our top pick, especially with this opportunity on the pre-market move dipping here. So NBIS top pick, 50 DMAs at 29.20. It's holding that. Yeah, that's going to be the top pick today. You can take a look at these others. Rhett, you can take a look at those big caps that I gave you targets on, TSM and Snow for the options channel, ASTS at the 200 DMA dip, DJT buying the dips on this news. And very interesting. Keep an eye on BlackBerry and beyond. They could have great days today. So keep that in mind. I'm going to actually throw these above Geo. All right. Now, with that, let's reset, do a little bit of countdown, give you guys 30 seconds for Jeff Thompson to come on. Good morning, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. You came in the back studio just a few seconds after I finished talking about your stock yesterday and the curious performance where RCAT was up 15% while the defense sector was getting absolutely demolished. So, we just have a few minutes here. And what I'd like to talk about is, there was that short report that came out, and the number one the feedback I've heard from skeptics out there is where's the actual contract, all right? And then we'll get into the politics. I know we want to discuss the politics of what happened yesterday, but where is the actual contract? Like, it's not on defense.gov, it's not on SAM, is this real? Like, why don't you just explain to people what the status of that is and when we'll actually see the actual contract to quiet down those bears?
Yeah, we kind of went through this in a town hall in December, but it's the same it's been for the last 4 years, and the same that was for Skydio when they got a production contract. Every fall we get down selected, which is just a notice. Went from five people down selected out of 30 to 4 to 3 to 2 to we just got down selected this fall as a sole source for the SRR contract. Now what happens then is the same thing that's happened for the last 4 years is we get our down selection, then we start negotiating the contract in January. Hopefully we have it done the end of January, February. Last year it was in February because of the continuing resolution. We're going to be doing 2 contracts this year. One is going to be for LRIP, low rate initial production, and then mass production later in the year, starting with that last quarter of October, November, December. This is no different than it's been in any other year that we've been doing this for over 5 years now. And just to look, if you look at Skydio's down selection, it was the same date as ours, October 28th in 2021. And then they had their contract announced, their LRIP contract announced for 1,083 systems in mid to late February, I think it was. So
okay, so any concerns or any delays that we can expect because of the administration change in terms of LRIP?
No, this administration is lining up, and that's, I think, the reason that we spiked yesterday. We're the most popular form factor for war right now, specifically the warfighter. We've got, Secretary Hegseth in there now, which is all about the warfighter. So, as they get rid of these old, crappy, crusty, old prime technology, they're going to invest in smaller, better, cheaper, faster, less expensive, more capable, which is the Black Widow. Specifically with and I know you guys like Palantir here. It's that partnership is going to make this drone one of the most capable drones out there.
Let's talk about what happened yesterday with Pete Hegseth, and there was some sort of directive he issued in the morning or maybe the night before that caused the whole defense sector to go down, but your stock went up. Why do you think that is? Yeah,
it's because I think there's a lot of stocks that aren't going to be affected by this. Well, us, Palantir, Anduril, Shield AI, some of the analysts that I talk to on the street are calling us the disruptors. We're the new technology that's brand new. That's exactly what they need, been using in Ukraine. So this shift from old, exquisite, very expensive machines to something capable that can fit right in your rucksack, I think that lines up very well for RedCat and other folks like us.
Okay, but you said there's someone on your board, Brett Velikovich, is that his name?
Yeah, Brett's he's very active in all of these locations that are hot around the world right now, Middle East, Ukraine. So he's very active as an expert on drones. He wrote the book Drone Warrior. He's been on our advisory board. He has been showing us some incredible technology coming out of these war zones that could really help RedCat.
And I understand he has a relationship with Pete Hegseth. He was on his show many times. What's that relationship there? Because let me tell you why I'm asking this. There's another defense stock, Khaki, all right, which our community was looking into. And if you can see this chart, look at this. This Khaki went down from 590 to 388 since Trump was elected. And it went down solely because of concerns of budget cuts from Doge, efficiency cuts, budget cuts, etc. Then they had their earnings a couple days ago, and every single analyst was obsessed they basically wanted an assurance. Have you spoken to anyone in the administration? Do you have a contact with someone in the administration? Do you have an assurance, from conversations you had with the administration that you guys are not going to be cut? That's what the analysts wanted to hear. Anything short of that, they destroyed the stock. So I guess the question for you is from, people on your board or your team or Brett Velikovich, anyone on your team, have you had any contacts or relationships with the administration that gives you, can give investors that assurance that, again, that this is a good change for you rather than a bad change to the administration?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on any interactions between us and the new administration. We think we're well positioned. We've got great people on our board that, General Funk, Brett Velikovich. We're in the disruptor new guard group. I think we'll do very well with any cuts from any of these old antiquated systems, considering that we literally have the most popular form factor and category and one of the most capable drones right now in the U.S. Army.
Okay, so basically, if I'm reading between lines, you're kind of speculation. It sounds like you're saying that this initiative that was announced yesterday is something that maybe is bad for the larger companies and good for the drone companies. Can you explain your thought process on that?
I would say that anything that's brand new technology that's been field tested in other countries, so we know that it actually works in EW contested places, will now have complete GPS denied is very crucial, and a lot of older drones can't fly with GPS denied, even with M code. So us partnering with Palantir with their brand new visual navigation system, it's the best visual navigation system in the market, in my opinion. So we have one of the most capable drones that the warfighter is going to have in their rucksack.
What's the status of that relationship with Palantir? Any new exciting developments we can expect in the coming quarter with that?
Yeah, so we were supposed to have an investor day at the NASDAQ market site on January 9th, but then there was a funeral for Jimmy Carter. So we will be putting out a press release later today or tomorrow. The investor day is now February 27th. It's going to be in New York at the NASDAQ market site. And it looks like we're going to be having a representative from Palantir there explaining to investors what our visual navigation and the Maven artificial intelligence will be like on the new Black Widow and then soon onto the Edge 130. So you'll be able to get more details about our partnership during Investor Day next month on February 27th.
Wow. Breaking news right there, guys. February 27th, Investor Day, representative from Palantir will be there. That's pretty exciting. So that's a catalyst to look forward to. Then we got earnings on March 17th to March 21st, which obviously is not yet going to be impacted by this deal at that point. And then the LRIP. I guess with the last couple minutes we have here, there's a very common, even in our Discord when we were talking about this yesterday, people were like, well, it's not possible to get the LRIP until the new budget is passed, like in May or something, right? This is what conventional wisdom is. Why is that wrong?
Well, it's last year, there was a continuing resolution also. We got our prototype contract, which I think was for $6 million in February. We got that done. And we even though we were months without a contract, we actually hit some milestones with the Army. They've always been very good. They've always paid us for those milestones, even though we weren't under contract. So they've been a great partner for 5.5 years going through this process. So, there's a new administration. It seems like there's a lot of moving parts here, but we meet with the Army once a week. And
you have these meetings once a week. There's no comment you can give on, assurances from the government that, hey, you guys are not going to be delayed. Everything's good. You don't have any kind of oral assurance from them?
I'm not going to comment on meetings that I'm having with people that are actually trying to keep our war fighters. That would be the wrong thing to do. I'm not going to make comments, but I can tell you myself personally, after having these conversations, I feel very, very calm and sleep well at night. These guys need these drones. They want these drones. The Armed Services Committee wants them to deploy all those drones from the 5,880, and they want them across every other branch. It's all in black and white. I posted it a couple of weeks ago. It's urgent to get these drones out to these soldiers. And any continuing resolution, they're going to take that money and they're going to spend it all. Even if they're only going to have 5 months, if it gets signed in May, they'll spend every dollar of it. They never give money back. That's why they call it sweeps.
Okay, listen, can you do 3 questions rapid fire, like 20-second answers max?
Sure.
All right, from our audience. RCAT currently has only 1 research analyst following you. Have you seen interest by larger firms to begin to follow you? 20 seconds, go.
I've had a lot of interest from some of the largest firms out there, but they'll never be able to cover a company as small as us.
Okay, I mean, billion? You were at $1 billion recently, 750 million. All right, so that's that. Next question. Will RCAT be providing an official legal rebuttal to the short report and pending all those pending lawsuits are bullshit. That's ambulance chasers. But is there an update on the fact sheet?
Yeah, the fact sheet's not coming out. We're not spending a single ounce of energy on that short report anymore. We're going to just put our heads down, get a bunch of contracts, put them in the lawyers told us not to do any of that. They said, just keep performing. It's junk.
All right. Next question. Is the company updating its investor deck, which is posted on the company's website?
Yeah. This is the one good thing from that report is we did see all the old stuff and crap when I was a startup in a garage in Puerto Rico. That's where we're taking our energy from the fact sheet. We're going to clean up all the IR, which is outsourced. We're fixing all that as we speak, and that should be all squared away very soon.
Awesome. And last comment from someone, handsome CEO. Let's go, RCAT.
Is my daughter on here?
Thank you, Jeff, for your time. We'll see you next time. Looking forward to that catalyst, that investor day coming up in February.
Great. Hope you guys can make it. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Take care. All right, guys, that was Jeff Thompson. We got just a couple minutes here before the open. Want to just quickly say on the technicals on RCAT here, that 50 DMA is important today at 9:29. If you break above that, we could have another great day on RCAT. So, Rhett, that's all. We got to sign off because we're going to be live on Benzinga at 11. So I'm not going to be able to do a continuous live session here today. Let's go to the top list. Okay, NBIS, top pick. Let's see if TSM can hit the target. ASTS on the dip. DJT might be what I might be focused on trading today. Going to be very volatile and dips can be bought. Oh, PAC is getting a little bit of a bid, and hopefully someone can tell us about PAC in our Discord so we can see if we can have conviction on the direction of the stock after that investment by Amazon this morning. Rhett, any final thoughts from you?
No, that's it. The only final thoughts are going to be for the Discord. So,
all right, fine. Final thoughts in the Discord. Head on over to storytrading.com/Discord. You can join us there. 11 a.m. Benzinga show. 2 p.m. Actually, maybe 1:50 we'll go live on Discord streaming. And then again at 4 p.m. for all the earnings, we'll be live on Discord. Have a great day, everyone.
take care.